First of all, first thing you got to do is you got to give Michigan credit. That's a good football team. That's a mature football team, one of the oldest teams in the country, one of the most mature teams in the country. Ranked number 4 for a reason. They're a good football team. You got to give them credit. We didn't play well. Our linebacker situation. I don't know if I've ever been through something like this or seen anything like this. You know, we got Bell, Wortman, and Kabinda out. Brandon Smith gets thrown out on a targeting call, and that's the rule. I don't know what to tell the kid. He's going for the ball. He's going for the interception with his hands out, and you know, they hit helmet to helmet. So I get it. I understand. I don't know what you tell the kid. He gets ejected from the game from it, and then Jan Johnson comes in, and we lose Jan Johnson for the season as well. So our linebacker situation, again, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. So you got to give Michigan credit. Number one, they were physical on both fronts. O-line, they were physical, big, strong, physical, and then on the D-line, the same thing as well. And you know, they're going to do some things defensively, high risk, high reward, load the box. They got one of the more talented secondaries in the country. We had a hard time with their D-line, and then you combine that with all the pressures and blitzing they did. You know, we took some shots down the field late. Probably need to take more of them. Open up the questions.
Yes, over here. Down 28-0, I believe, in the third quarter, 4th and 2, big formation and timeout. What did you see on that play, and what led to the decision to continue to kick instead of going for it?
Yeah, that was not a good decision on my part. Second guessed ourselves there and thought maybe we should, go for the touchdown. But still a lot of time left in the game, and obviously didn't want to take the penalty and take us out of the situation of going for a touchdown there. But then had a discussion, and everybody felt like we needed to take the points at that point. A lot of time left in the half. If you're going to kick the field goal, obviously we should have took the penalty and kicked the field goal. But I second guessed myself there, going for a touchdown, try to get back in the game. But if you come up with no points, we didn't think that was the right thing to do.
James, in the first quarter, you're at the Michigan 42. You're down with the defense. Obviously, we know your defensive situation. 4th and 5. What went into that decision to go for it?
Same deal. We were having a difficult time stopping them. They were able to control the ball, control the line of scrimmage, run the ball, play action pass. We weren't able to get pressure on their quarterback when we did. We had a couple opportunities for tackles for loss and sacks, and he always seemed to get out of them. So I just felt like we needed to try to make a move on offense and try to get some points and be aggressive when it didn't look like at that point we could slow them down on defense.
James, what do you think of the job Blake did?
Yeah, I think that Blake has been one of the more positive things all year long. Number 5 has been an issue for everybody. Peppers as a return man. We had the one, not the way you want to start the game, backed up in your own territory, tight punt. Whenever you go tight punt, you're protecting and not covering, and that's the last thing you want to do with Jabril Peppers back there is kick it without any gunners on the outside running down the field getting in his face. After that, I thought we did a pretty good job, but that was not a great way to start the game, and they were able to get a big return up the middle. So, I thought Blake is doing a nice job and did a nice job for us today.
Can you compare this game as far as the non-competitiveness of it to anything that in your past, either as an assistant or a head coach, and what did you do then, or what did your staff do then to keep the team buoyant?
What I did learn a long time ago is when you play ranked teams, there's a difference between playing ranked teams and top 5 teams. There is a dramatic difference. Difference between the 16th or 20th ranked team and the 25th ranked team is not significant. But those top 5 teams are top 5 teams for a reason, and they played like it today. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build this program the same way, where we can be dominant in all 3 phases. And we got a lot of work to do still, and we're going to continue to focus on that and get better at practice. We're going to continue to develop our guys. They're hurting in that locker room right now. So are the coaches, and physically hurting and emotionally hurting. But we're going to come back to work on Sunday and continue to work to get better.
I wanted to know what your approach, though, is any different than any other week when something like this happens.
You talking about this week coming up?
Yeah, like Monday, Tuesday. Are you going to do anything different just because of?
Yeah, as of right now, no. We have our plan, obviously, between now and tomorrow morning. That could change. I doubt it.
We'll fly back, we'll watch the tape on the plane, the coaches, we'll grade the tape, we'll come in on Sunday, make the corrections. Obviously, the injury report will affect how we practice or what we practice, like it always does. We got some decisions to make on the defensive side of the ball, especially at linebacker.
Anything else for Coach?
James, you knew the defense might have some issues because of the injuries, but your offense with 10 points, 199 yards, did you expect more production from them?
Yeah, I expected more productions for production from all three phases. One of the top defenses in the country. They were beating us up front, and like I told you guys in the past, when you're getting beat up front on offense or defense, it can be challenging. So yeah, I thought we could be more successful, offensively, especially early on. We weren't able to do that, but yeah, I thought we had a chance to be more successful in all three phases today.
James, when you talk about making possible decisions at linebacker, what decisions are there to be made in terms of the limited personnel that you have?
We're just gonna have to keep moving, guys. Right now we're gonna have a hard time practicing with the number of guys that we have. So we may have to continue moving guys, different positions. That's what we're gonna have to look at right now. So again, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this before. So it is what it is. We got to find a way to solve the problem.
James, first three quarters, neither Chris nor Deshaun had a catch. Was there a way that you could maybe have worked them open just for a short game to have them just catch that first one and give them a little confidence?
Well, yeah, yeah. Typically, the way to do that is when you get free access, you throw hitches and things like that. But they weren't doing that. They were playing man coverage. So if you're going to play man coverage and you're going to get pressed, you're going to have to run crossing routes and you're going to have to go vertical. When we called crossing routes, Trace was having a hard time holding on to the ball long enough to allow them to cross. That didn't happen. So we were getting pressure. Guys were coming clean sometimes. 73 Hurst, I thought, had a really good game. Taco Charlton had a really good game for him. But yeah, there are the two ways. You can take shots down the field or crossing routes and pick routes and things like that. That's what we were calling, but we couldn't protect long enough to be able to do that.
What's the explanation you got on Smith targeting ejection? Did they tell you anything different after they watched the replay? Or no?
No, it's the right call. If you have helmet-to-helmet contact with the defensive player, there's no gray area. There's no intent. My argument is we have just as much of a right for the ball as they do, and you see clearly he put his hands out going for the ball, but that's not how the rule is written. That would factor in intent, and it doesn't factor that in. If there's helmet-to-helmet contact with what they categorize as a defenseless player, it's a penalty. So again, I don't know what you tell the player. He was going for the ball. The ball was low, so that made him go down low, and there was helmet-to-helmet contact. So it is the right call,
Anything else for Coach? James, have you guys kind of settled on Miles back there as kick returner? Is that we saw all today?
Yeah, this week we had planned on, giving him an opportunity to return some more kicks. The one thing I was proud of him as young players, they typically want to force things to happen, and our rule is to line up, 2 yards in the end zone, don't back up. If you catch it going forward, go. And I thought he made some good decisions back there, which we were able to get the ball on the 25-yard line and move forward. And sometimes as young players, they want to make a play so bad, they return balls that they shouldn't. So he did that, and that was a positive.
James, I know you said you agree with the call based on the rule itself. Will you still submit this for review, Big Ten?
It's the only time you submit something is if it's something you watch on film that you think is different than what the rule states. That's what the rule states. If you have head-to-head contact with a defenseless player, it's a penalty. So there's nothing to really discuss. Even if you look when they went and reviewed it, it didn't take very long. They're going to look for helmet-to-helmet contact, and it's over. Again, the thing that we're all looking at, the thing from a Penn State's perspective, is intent. Well, intent has nothing to do with that rule.
Had Cooper really taken any reps at middle linebacker before in practice or anything? What do you tell a guy who's forced into this?
Yeah, Coop's been a guy that's always played the will and then, backed up at the mic, and he's gotten some reps there, but, obviously, not to the degree that he took today. So, we need to continue to give him opportunities to get reps in practice and get more confident at that position, calling the defense. and then obviously the same thing we're gonna have to do with some of the other guys as well.
James,
Rich,
in the
last
short
question.
time that Jan was in the game, how do you think he did, and what do you feel for him getting his first opportunity to play, and then what happened?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I saw him early on flash, make a couple tackles, but besides that, I know you guys hate when coaches say I have to look at the tape and decide, but I couldn't tell you. I know I saw him make a couple plays early on, and then he got hurt, I'd have to watch the tape to tell you that. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but that's really the answer. Cam Brown got his first start, or first significant action at 10 tackles. He's obviously going to play more. You're going to see a bunch of Manny, you're going to see a bunch of Cooper, you're going to see a bunch of Cam Brown, and then we're going to have to get these guys more reps to develop back up, and then we'll get Brennan back as well, obviously.
Thank you, Coach.